Hey everyone, Shabim here and welcome back to our next episode of the WWE 2K19 Universe Mode. This is our second installment of Lucha Underground. Interesting one tonight, 3 big singles matches. And here we go then, we are underway. Andrade, Cien, Almas making his debut in this universe mode, his first appearance for Lucha Underground. I feel like Andrade is going to be someone who's going to get some work elsewhere as well. I feel like maybe New Japan in the junior heavyweight division would be a fantastic place for him to be. Maybe AEW would give him a couple of opportunities. I think PWG would be a great place for Andrade as well. I really haven't thought much about Andrade, to be honest. It's yeah, that's an interesting one, actually. It's something I can definitely think about doing, because he's a very quality wrestler, and I think he would get a lot of bookings should WWE shut down. And of course, he's taken on here today Bandido, who's had a pretty interesting first week of the Universe mode. Had quite a bit of action. And now here he is. Of course, he won a triple threat match last week on our opening episode of Lucha Underground, defeating both members of the Lucha Brothers, Phoenix and Pentagon. But this, I think, is going to be another very interesting test for him. Should he win this one, he would definitely be probably one of the most informed men on this roster, but also looking pretty strong in the general universe as well. I feel like Bandido's another one that we might see over in New Japan at some point as well. Almas now just twisting the arm of Bandido, but Bandido fighting back with a boot in the gut. So tonight we've got 3 singles matches for you. We have got this one, of course, Almas versus Bandido. Next up, we have got The Machine, Brian Cage, taking on the Mack. And our main event this evening will be Pentagon Jr. going one-on-one against Muertes. So that should be pretty interesting as well. As Bandido now, nice step up into Guri to the back of the head of Almas. Bandido now looking to lock in a figure 4 leg lock. Not the sort of move you'd expect from a big high fly like this, but a very effective move nonetheless as Almas fights back with a stiff right hand. Almas back up to his feet, but Bandido catches him, drops him face first into the mat. Almas now dragged into the middle of the ring via Bandido, who has a hold of the arm. And rolls Almas through as well. Bandido looking so strong here. Almas rolling to the outside. He'll want to get a big win here in his debut in Lucha Underground. He'll know how important this is to try and get himself in a championship position. We will crown our first championships over the next few episodes, I believe. I think we've got the Tag Team Championships first in about 2 or 3 episodes' time. Then the Lucha Underground Championship. And then we'll do the Gift of the Gods Championship as well, of course. If you don't know Lucha Underground well, the Gift of the Gods Championship is essentially, it's a mixture between a championship and a Money in the Bank, essentially. You could hand in your Gift of the Gods Championship at any time for a match against the champion. However, you have to give 1 week's notice for that match. So it's not like the Money in the Bank where you can cash it at any point in time. You have to give notice. But when you do give that notice, you do relinquish the championship and we start again. So that should be pretty fun. Nice drop kick there by Bandido on the outside, and Bandido and Almas cutting this quite fine with the clock, with the count. Referee's count is getting higher and higher now. I don't know what it's at now, but this could end up being a count out, this one, you know. Looks like the ring just might not contain them. I think the referee's at 7, I think that was. It was, and oh, Almas has just got a steel chair instead, and Almas, Bandido saw it coming, and Bandido just taking Almas down, and there's the pin from the crossbody, and Bandido's got it. Wow, Almas was not paying attention. He looked like he'd lost his head a bit. He went under the ring to grab a steel chair, came in the ring, and Bandido just caught him, and that's 2 massive wins in 2 weeks for Bandido. That's very interesting. I mean, I've not currently got him penciled in to have a shot at the Lucha Underground Championship, but I have got him as part of the Gift of the Gods Championship match at this point in time. But that was another very impressive win. 2 big wins in 2 weeks here for Bandido. Very impressive. Yeah, I might have to have a look at potentially giving him another opportunity moving forward at some point. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Throws a real spanner in the works, you know. Okay. Well, that's the first match of the night done. It's time to get into a bit more of a heavy-hitting one. And here we go then, Brian Cage versus Willie Mack here in Lucha Underground. Brian Cage is an absolute beast. And I think Willie Mack is he's obviously a very accomplished wrestler as well. I think he might struggle here today though. I've heard rumours, I'm not quite sure what's happened. I'm sure Brian Cage recently signed a new contract with Impact. But I'm now also reading that that might not be the case. That he might actually be looking to leave Impact. I know AEW will be pretty interested. He's been involved in quite a few of their, well, I say quite a few of their cards. He was involved in All In, and he was backstage ready to wrestle at Double or Nothing, but Impact told him he wasn't allowed to at the last minute. So it'd be interesting to see whether he does have an opportunity at AEW. Nice suplex there by Willie Mack. I was a bit worried after the strong start that Brian Cage might squash Mack here, but Mack is definitely showing some great ability. Wow, what a belly-to-belly that was. That was awesome. Cage throwing Mack to the floor. Back up to a standing base now. Mack with the elbows right in the guts. I don't know, I've swallowed a fly, I think. Ugh. Something's in my throat. Wow. Mack is really impressing me here with his physical strength. I weren't expecting this, to be honest. I mean, we know he's an absolute powerhouse, but when you're in a match against Brian Cage, you don't expect to be showcasing the sort of power that the Mack is showcased. Of course, both of these men are also part of our Impact Wrestling roster. The Mack part of Combat Zone Wrestling as well, where I've seen him wrestle a few times. It's a pretty cool combination of people here. I'm sure we'll see them a bit more on the other rosters as well. Nice, Mack just taking Brian Cage down with a neck breaker. Now heads up to the top, and Mack. Wow, okay. Spiral tap by the Mack. Return out the Mack. Mack now bringing Cage up, and Cage able to slide free into a Russian leg sweep on the Mack. Bringing the Mack back up to his feet. Off the ropes he goes, and there's the gorilla press by Brian Cage into the power slam. Wow. Big boot in the spine of the Mack as well. And Mack with a massive discus lariat taking down. Oh, sorry. Look, Brian Cage with a massive discus lariat taking down the Mack. Only for a 2 count though. Of course, don't forget we've got a lot of action for you this weekend. We have got a Shimmer show coming up for you today. Our first all-female show coming up. We have got tomorrow is TNA Unbreakable and our first Progress Wrestling show. And then on Sunday we have got PWG as well as a second Progress show as well. So lots of cool action coming up for you. As the Mack now sands Cage into the ring, throws him up in the air, dropping him face first, boot in the back of the head as well. Mack now bringing Cage up into an over-the-top cutter. We've also got Retro WrestleMania this weekend as well, which I was planning on uploading last week, but I wasn't happy with the quality of the matches, so I'm going to redo the whole show. But that should be pretty fun. Brian Cage now stalking the Mack. He's going to take him up. Looking potentially for the Steiner Screwdriver. What an immense move. I do like that move a lot. There's the pin. straight on top of the Mayan calendar. And that is enough for the 1, the 2, and the 3 count. And Brian Cage is victorious. And I've lost my highlighter. That's always useful, isn't it? Great win here for Brian Cage then. It's exactly what he needed. So 2 big wins here this evening for Bandido and Cage. We've got a big main event coming up for you as well. As I said earlier on, Pentagon Jr. versus the debuting Mil Muertes. Pretty even match this one. I mean, both guys had opportunities, but it was, of course, Brian Cage who came out on top. It's a nice neck breaker there by the Mack, but it wasn't quite enough. Owner for a 1 count, that was. And Brian Cage is victorious. Brian Cage, of course, also part of our New Japan roster as well. And I do really want to do on New Japan at some point is have Brian Cage versus Brock Lesnar, I think, on New Japan. I think that'd be an awesome match. But there we go. Brian Cage is victorious here tonight. I'm sure he'll be pushing to get himself in the championship picture as well soon. Here we go then, Mil Muertes versus Pentagon Jr. Well, Pentagon's straight off the leg of Mil Muertes, but Mil using his strength early on to get control into a big DDT, taking Pentagon down. Mil now have a boot right in the spine of Pentagon as well. Brings him back up to a seated base, another boot in the spine, but Pentagon back up to his feet, went for a super kick, and Mil catches him. Of course, both of these two are a couple of the main faces in Lucha Underground. And I do very much like the dark aspect of them as well. I always seem to enjoy the dark aspect of wrestling. I really do. The dark, the occult, and people like The Undertaker, Kane, Pentagon, Mil Muertes, Bray Wyatt. I mean, I've enjoyed all those sort of characters. I don't know why, but I'm drawn into a very dark side of wrestling. Hence why I made this match. 2 of my favourite guys in the Lucha Underground. I mean, Mil Muertes doesn't look like it, but he had some fantastic matches. You look at a big guy like that and you think, oh, he's just going to be there, he's going to throw some people around, this, that, and the other. But some of the matches he had, I remember the little feud he had in Season 1, maybe Season 2, against Phoenix, where they had the casket match, and that was fantastic. I mean, obviously Phoenix was a large part of that as well. He took a hell of a beating in that match. And Pentagon's feud against Vampiro as well, leading up to the first Ultima Lucha, was fantastic. I mean, I really enjoyed all of it, actually. Nice back elbow there by Pentagon. Nice running super kick, catching Mil Muertes at a boot in the gut as well. Pentagon drop another boot in the arm of Mil Muertes. There's the pin. 1. Only a 1 count. Nice boot in the spine there by Pentagon. Takedown once again. Pentagon throwing Muertes into the corner and a big knees into the spine. Takedown there by Pentagon on Mil Muertes. Now bringing Mil back up to his feet, a boot in the gut. Followed up. Wow, nice takedown. There's the pin. 1. Only a 1 count. Pentagon now wrenching back. And there's the arm breaker on Mil Muertes. Wow. There's the pin. 1, 2, and 3. And Pentagon's got it with the arm breaker. Wow, that was a pretty simple win. A very simple win for Pentagon, but he's pulled it out of the bag here. Obviously, it was just the straw that broke the camel's back. It wasn't enough to finish the match off altogether, but the damage combined was enough to finish off Mil Muertes and Pentagon here. That's a massive win for him. Of course, like I said, this is a very main event picture. These are 2 of the guys that will be looking to get themselves into the Lucha Underground Championship match. And that's a huge win for Pentagon and huge momentum to take him full potentially into that as well. Good win here for Pentagon. Very good win for him. Is that all? Yeah, so well done to Pentagon Jr. That's a big win, and that is the end of tonight's show as well then. Of course, if you have enjoyed this video, then please do hit the like button, and of course subscribe if you would like to see some more. I've been Shabby Gamer, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week for some more Lucha Underground, or later on today for some Shimmer. We've got tons of stuff over the weekend. There's literally something for everyone, hopefully. I've been Shabby Gamer, thank you very much for watching, see you next time. Bye.